of your minds. How many of you like to do that without the use of drugs? Well, that's good. And by the way, thanks for that ovation. As I walked up here, it reminded me of my first standing ovation. When I was 19 years old, 70,000 people jumped to their feet and gave my athletic performance a standing ovation. It was Arizona State, Sun Devil Stadium. 70,000 people cheered for me because I was on the other football team and I just missed a field goal. Yeah, they were happy. I wasn't. In fact, you know what's interesting? How many of you have ever suffered disappointment? I love what Paul Harvey said. I hope one day I have enough of what the world calls success so somebody asks me the secret. I will say simply, I get up when I'm knocked down. But sometimes we need the help of others to get back up. In fact, I like to learn something new and share it with others. For instance, I talk to kids from schools, to big audiences about there's a lot of sadness going on around us. You can walk by them or you can lend a helping hand. And I had a 14-year-old go, I'm only 14 years old, what difference can I make? And I said, I know you can make a difference, and here's how I know. 16 years ago, my doctor called me, Bob, the lab report just came back, the little tumor we took out of your chest, it came from somewhere else in your body, it's a metastatic adenocarcinoma, you have about a year to live. Now, he was wrong, but I didn't know that for 28 days. What would you do if you found out you had a year to live? Well, you know one thing I did learn? To be grateful in all things. I picked up my camera, I started filming. It was April, it was snowing. I said, kids, I just found out I got a year to live, and I want you to know I'm grateful for every day of life I have with you. And then I got practical. I called the dentist and canceled my dentist appointment because I thought, I don't have to go to the dentist anymore. And then my daughter comes up, she's a teenager. Dad, I heard the news, sit down, I've got to ask you something. What is it, sweetie? Dad, do you have life insurance? I go, yeah, why? Is there any chance we could get some money for some clothes? I mean, not today, but you know. So for 28 days, I lived with the news it was all over. 28 days later, the Huntsman Cancer Center calls me and says, Bob, we made a mistake. You're okay? I was grateful. Then I got practical. I got my dentist appointment back. And then I took my daughter shopping for clothes because I didn't want her to be sad that I wasn't going to die. But would that be a tough 28 days? Somebody once said, when you're in a hard place, you might be in the middle of your next inspirational story. There was a little girl in my neighborhood 2 blocks away going through chemotherapy for a brain tumor, 13 years old. She didn't have a hair on her body. 13 years old, she shows up at my door with a plate of cookies, and she changed my life when she said simply, call me anytime, day or night. I know what you're going through, and I think I can help. And in that moment, she changed my life. And I thought, why can't I do for others what she did for me? So for 16 years, you guys, I wake up every morning and go, who can I inspire today, teach today, make laugh today? And I spend the day trying to find that person. And sometimes it was 30,000 people in an arena or 1,400 servicemen at a military base. But more often than not, it's the lady across the counter at the convenience store. Across from Lone Peak High School in Highland, her name is Linda. And she knows when I walk in that door, she's going to smile. And you know what? If you impact one person, if you inspire one person, what did you really inspire? Remember the little girl that brought me the cookies? She survived. 10 years later, I'm speaking at the university. I'm on the big stage. She's in the front row. I go, Jocelyn, you're here. She said, yeah, I heard you were speaking. I got to this point of the story. I walked off the stage, and I walked up, and I said, this is the little girl who changed my life. And I looked at her, and I said, Jocelyn, over 1 million people have heard from me personally about what you did for me that day. There's no such thing as a small act of kindness. Each act creates a ripple with no logical end. Yes, a 14-year-old can make a difference, and so can you. But you know what? Learn something new and share it with others. Maybe I'm hardwired this way. When I was in college, I had trouble memorizing. How many of you could use a better memory? How many of you can't remember if you could use a better memory? Is anybody absent-minded? You forget where you put your keys, where you parked your car, where you put your kids? I had one guy tell me, I never forget where I put my car keys. I have a technique. I said, well, sir, share. Well, if I were to put my keys on the table, I'd do it like this. I am now putting my keys on the table. He said it works great. Not only do I remember where they are, but everybody in the house does too. Well, one of the keys to having a better memory is what's called visualization. What do I mean by that? Everybody close your eyes. Go ahead, take a second to close your eyes. Guys, this isn't television. I can see you. Close your eyes. Now visually get into your dream car, the car you want to own one day, and start down the freeway in your dream car. Now dream big. If you're in a Ford Escort or a minivan, get out and get into something else. We're dreaming big here. Okay, open your eyes. If you can see pictures in your head, this works. It works for most people. Students love this. My GPA went from 3.0 to 3.8 when I learned how to do this. So let's see how well you do. I'm going to give you a list of things to remember here at once, and let's just see how well we do. The first item I want everyone to remember is a bonnet. Everybody say bonnet. Everybody take your hands like this and tie a little bonnet to your head. Close your eyes. What color is the bonnet on your head? Say it out loud. Okay, keep your eyes closed. After bonnet is giraffe. Take that bonnet, walk up to a giraffe, and maybe you could smell the giraffe breath, but tie that bonnet to the giraffe. Everybody say giraffe. After giraffe is telephone booth. Visualize a giraffe who is stuck in a telephone booth. You go, this is strange. Look at that. Everybody say telephone booth. After telephone booth is steamroller. Picture a steamroller crushing. Don't worry about the giraffe. He got out. He's okay. Picture a steamroller crushing the telephone booth. Can you hear it going? Everybody go. Say steamroller. After steamroller is boat. Visualize a steamroller go into the water and you're going, how does it float, the steamrolling boat? Say boat. After boat is snake. There's hundreds of snakes on the boat. You're on the boat. The snakes are chasing you. What kind of snake is it? Say it out loud. After snake is professor. One of the snakes turns into a professor and he's teaching you. He's slithering back and forth in front of the class. Okay, what class are you in? Somebody always has one for that. Okay, open your eyes. When I'm teaching kids things like they had to remember the original colonies of the United States. The first one's Delaware. Everybody say Delaware. Delaware sounds like a deli sandwich. So let's put a bunch of deli sandwiches right here on this light. Stick them on there and you're eating lunch off of that light. Say Delaware. After Delaware is Pennsylvania. So everybody pretend to pick up a pencil. Pick up a big pencil and throw it at the screen. And see the pencil go through the screen. What color was your pencil? Okay, the next one's New Jersey. Not an old Jersey, this is a New Jersey. Everybody pick up your New Jersey, and let's wrap it right over the top of this. Put your arms in there, and you're walking around with your New Jersey. Now, I taught them the 27 amendments in 20 minutes like this. Does everybody see how 7 looks like a hockey stick upside down? Can you see that? The 7th Amendment is trial by jury. Close your eyes. Walk into the courtroom, you look at all 12 jurors, and they all have hockey sticks smacking each other. Okay. Just for fun, everyone together in a loud, clear voice. What did you tie to your head? A? After bonnet is a? After giraffe is a? After telephone booth is a? After steamroller is a? After boat is a? After snake is a? Okay, give everyone a chance. Do not say a word. When you know what state is connected to that light right there, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Good. It is the state of what? Okay, we're looking at the screen. It is the state of what? You're looking right here. It is the state of what? 7 looks like a what? To remember what? Give yourself a round of applause. You did really well. So I had a kick teaching hundreds of thousands of students how to have a better memory, and adults too, like remembering people's names and faces. But let me show you how far you can take this. I went from a struggling student to doing something like this. I have memorized over 600 quotes, jokes, and stories. I have 160 stories right here. In fact, quotes and jokes, and well, guys, can you bring that slide up for me? Here's just some of those quotations that I memorized. Could you choose a number up there? I'll see if I get it right. 111. Great men were not made in sudden flight, but they, while their neighbors slept, struggled upward in the night. Choose one. 107. Occasionally, some individuals let the seeming ordinariness of life dampen their spirits. Well, that's 3 paragraphs long. One more. Choose one, sir. You. 121, a father who gives his children habits of industry and education provides for them better than giving them a fortune. My mother saw me do this. She goes, when did you get smart? But you know what, guys? People go, well, why would you bother doing this? Everything I've learned of significance in my life is part of those 600 quotes, jokes, and stories. And you know what? When I'm driving in my car like I did this morning, I review 50 to 100 of them. Everything I've known, like, oh, the person who's upset has got the problem. Like the little boy who says, hey, mommy, where are all the stupidity of drivers today? They only come out when your father's driving. And I teach kids that, my gosh, look at you look at yourself, you're triggered, don't blame someone out there. Or this, anger. There's another thing I'd memorized. Did you know anger is a secondary emotion covering pain? I had a kid in American Fork High School. Hey, coach, I don't get grounded by my mother anymore. I said, why? Because when my mother's mad, I know she just needs a hug. That's changing lives. Well, you know what? John Wooden, the great basketball coach at UCLA, said this: I'm not what I should be. I'm not what I could be. I'm not what I'm going to be. But I thank God I'm not what I used to be. How many of you learned just at least one thing here today because I showed up? Can I see your hands? Yeah. Mission accomplished. Hey, be the student, find your teacher, make it happen, and now go share what you learned with others. Thank you. It's been an honor. Thank you.